Hi and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes I made when I first got into bird photography. So come along and enjoy this adventure. Well, today I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes I made when I first got into bird photography. And number 5 is not having an extra battery or extra storage for my camera. So this camera uses one CF card and one SD card, and I have them writing to both cards at the same time. So if I forgot to empty my data off the cards, or if I forgot to delete the information off, if I fill up the cards, I can at least swap them out and keep on taking pictures of birds. The same thing's true with the battery. If I forgot to charge the battery, which I have done more times than I care to mention, at least I have another battery so I can keep on going for the day. And if you're shooting with a mirrorless camera, it's very, very important that you have an extra battery with you. So tip number 5, have extra storage and have an extra battery. When I first got into bird photography, I spent a lot of money on my optics, and I said to myself, why would I buy a pair of binoculars? And I have to tell you that having a pair of binoculars is something that any bird photographer should have. First of all, it's a great way to scan an area looking for wildlife. You can quickly scan whatever you're looking at, bushes, trees, to see what birds are in there. The second thing it is that you can scan a large area really quick because you have this incredible field of focus that you don't have with your camera. It also works in a much lower light environment than your camera does. It just gives you a lot of advantages that your camera really cannot give you. The camera is great for taking pictures, focusing on one thing. Binoculars are great for seeing a broad picture. So tip number 4 is buy a pair of binoculars. Hey, I want to hear your comments about what big mistakes you made when you first got into bird photography. Leave your comments below. Tip number 3 is to take your camera off of automatic. I think a huge mistake that I see all the time is that people are shooting at the settings that their camera originally came out of the box with. They will take okay pictures, but they will not take those epic photos that you want to see, the ones that you see in your mind when you push the shutter button. So I have done a whole video on this, so if you want to see that, I got a link above, I have a link below. But taking your camera off of automatic and taking control of your camera is tip number 3. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments about this, but using a tripod will really help you take really epic pictures. And that's what we want to take. Take those pictures we see in our head. If you're hand holding a camera and you're following a bird flying over, you're literally doing this. You're adding what is called camera movement to your photos. And camera movement is basically distortion in your pictures. And it comes across as birds being stretched out, birds not looking right, looking like part of them are out of focus. And that is caused by camera movement. A tripod eliminates a lot of that camera movement. And what you can do is when you see a bird flying across with a gimbal head, you can just kind of focus in on it and it'll do that. The other thing that a tripod does is if you have a bird sitting on a bale of hay and you're waiting for it to get into perfect position or turn its head, you're just standing there waiting for it, and you don't have to do this bobbing game where you're lifting up and down your camera. It's just waiting for the bird to get there. So tip number 2 is get a tripod. When I first got into bird photography, I literally showed up at a camera shop, bought a Rebel T3 and 2 kit lenses, and went out and tried to photograph birds. And it was a disaster. The kit lens was a 100-300 zoom lens. It was just awful. It had plastic lenses in it. It just didn't take really good pictures of it. And I got really frustrated with it. The thing that I found out too was that the Canon Rebel was not really suitable for this. So what I should have done is gone to either a reputable website or a reputable camera shop and rented a piece of used equipment. So what used equipment does is you can buy a higher quality camera for less money that's used, and then you can rent it and see if you really like it. Does it do what you want it to do? And it also, if you decide that you want to upgrade your lenses, renting equipment means that you get a really good feel of how that lens works. Is it really sharp when you take pictures? Does it give you what you really feel you need? And you can test it against what you have already. So I really encourage people to rent equipment before they buy it, and buy used equipment, because a lot of times that used equipment is hardly used at all, and it is really a good deal for you to buy it. I think avoiding these 5 mistakes that I made when I first got into bird photography will make you a much more epic photographer, cut down a lot of the frustration, and have you focus on the photography and not the photography equipment or other issues that you run into. So I'm hoping you got something out of this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel because that helps us in the YouTube world. Become a Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy. I want to thank you for watching.